Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
Is this board is clear for you? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So today I am going to take fertilization. Okay. So here, before studying this fertilization, just I want to explain the structure of ovum first. Okay. This is ovum. Ovum. It is released on 14th day of menstrual cycle that I had already told. Okay. This ovum, it is the largest cell of our body and it is haploid. Haploid means it consists of only half chromosomes. That's why we call it as haploid. So here, uh, this the cytoplasm which is present in the ovum, that is called as ooplasm. This is ooplasm. It contains one nucleus which is eccentric. Eccentric nucleus is there because it is not present in the center. So we call it as eccentric nucleus is there. So this nucleus contains half chromosomes which will unite with the nucleus of male gamete and they will form the zygote. Okay. This is polar body. And this nucleus and the cytoplasm, it is covered by three layers. The innermost layer is called as Wittline membrane. This Wittline membrane, it is very thin and delicate. This Wittline membrane, it is covered by next layer, which is called as zona pellucida. Zona pellucida is there. And in between this Wittline membrane and zona pellucida, we can see this space. This space is called as periwittline space, in which three polar bodies are present, but here only one is shown because it is unfertilized ovum. It is not the fertilized ovum. When it will become fertilized, so that time it will consist of three polar bodies. Otherwise, it will contain only one polar body. Then zona pellucida, it is surrounded by some cells which are radially arranged, which is called as corona radiata. Corona radiata. This is not the corona, which is pandemic. Okay. So here, this ovum, it is divided into two halves. The half which consists of nucleus and polar body is called as animal half, and the remaining part or the opposite part is called as vegetal part or vegetal half begins. Vegetal half. Okay. So here the center of this animal half is called as animal pole. And on this animal pole, the fertilization process will take place. Do you understood this one? the nucleus, which is acentric in this ovum. Here, the cytoplasm, which is called as ooplasm. Okay. Here, this egg, it will not contain yolk like which we see in the hens. Okay, the egg of the hen. So like that here in this egg, the yolk will absent. This ooplasm, it is surrounded by thin membrane which is called as Wittlein membrane. This Wittlein membrane further surrounded by zona pellucida. There is space present between Wittlein membrane and zona pellucida is called as periwittlein space. Inside this periwittlein space, 3 polar bodies are present. Then zona pellucida is further surrounded by the some follicular cell which they arrange radially, which are called as corona radiata. Okay, so the part which will consist of polar body and the nucleus, this part is very important. That part is called as animal half, and the opposite part is called as vegetal part. So here, the center of this animal half is called as animal pole. Here, the fertilization process will take place. Do you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I have already explained structure of sperm. This is nucleus. This is acrosome. These are the centrioles. Okay, then this is mitochondria. Axial filament. This is frill. This is called as middle piece. This is mate. And this is head. Okay. So I have explained all these features when I had taught about the male reproductive system. So now here, let's go for hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually Wi-Fi बंद हो चुका है. That's why. So here, what do you mean by fertilization? The union of male gamete and this female gamete to form a single zygote. That process is called as fertilization. So in human being, this fertilization process takes place in the ampulla of the fallopian tube. How this process takes place? Now let's see. Okay. So here, as I have already explained, this is the female reproductive system. Okay. I have explained menstruation cycle. So on 14th day of menstrual cycle, the ovum is releases ovum, which is present in one of the ovary, because ovum, it is produced, only one ovum is produced in one menstrual cycle, and alternately, suppose in 1 month on left side of the ovary, if the ovum formation takes place, so in the next month, that will be in the another ovary. So like that, from two ovary, only from one ovary, one ovum will release on 14th day of menstrual cycle. This female gamete or ovum. So this female gamete, it is non-motile, and because of it, as soon as it will release from the ovary, it will received by the fimbriae through the ostium, and then with the help of ciliary movements, here ciliated epitheliums are there. So with the help of ciliary movement, that will be entered here into the ampulla of fallopian tube. So this ovum, it will be remain alive, or it will be fertile only for 3 days, up to 72 hours. And if during this time the sexual intercourse takes place, then and then only there will be chances of pregnancy. Otherwise, there will be no chance. So during these 72 hours, okay, if the sexual contact takes place, so this is vagina, I had already told you. In this vagina, near about 3 to 4 ml semen will deposit, which contain more than 400 million sperms. Okay, so here, so many sperms they will deposit here. Millions of sperm will deposit here. Okay, so these sperms they will now travel towards the ovum. For what? For fertilization process. So here, like that, they will travel. Okay. So some may go on this side, but on this side there is no ovum. Some may go towards this side. So here, out of these 400 million sperms, only 40 to 60 sperms, they will reach up to the ovum. They will reach up to the ovum. Okay. So here, what will happen to see? I have already told you animal pole. So these sperms, they will just attach to this ovum. So, ovum, it is spherical, like a ball. So they will stick. They will stick there, so that they will enter. Okay. So here, only the sperm, which is present on this nucleus outside, that will only enter, and the other will not. So then what will happen? So here, due to fertilin and anti-fertilin reactions, they will adhere to each other. Okay. Then what will happen? So this corona here, acrosome, which is present in the head of this sperm, that will release one hormone, which is called as hyaluronidase enzyme. This hyaluronidase enzyme, it will release by this acrosome. So because of it, this corona radiata, it will secrete hyaluronic acid. And due to this hyaluronic acid, these walls, these zona pellucida and vitelline membrane, they will get penetrate, and the sperm will enter into the ooplasm of the ovum. Do you understood? समझ में आ रहा है? Do you understood or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here, only this part means head and neck of the sperm that will enter into the ooplasm. What about the the middle piece and tail? So that will remain outside, and that will get detached. That will get detached because there is no role of that. So the role of middle piece was to provide energy so that it will reach towards the ovum. The role of tail, it will provide movement. So definitely they don't have a role now. So they will degenerate. Then what will happen? As soon as the head and neck will enter to Wittline membrane, it will convert into fertilization. So that no other sperm will enter into the ooplasm. Then what will happen? So the role of acrosome will now finish because the acrosome releases hyaluronidase enzyme. Because of it, the corona radiata will produce hyaluronic acid and penetrate the wall of the this ovum. So the role of acrosome will now finish. Then the nucleus and the here the upper centriole, which is called as proximal centriole. So this proximal centriole and the nucleus that will enter into the ooplasm. Now this nucleus, this one is the male nucleus I am writing here, okay? And this is the female nucleus. So this male nucleus now will travel towards the female nucleus. So this the path of it is called as population path. Population path. So as soon as it will reach here, so it will turn 90-degree, and then here what will happen? They will fuse with each other. So that process is called as amphimixis. So amphimixis process will take place. Both the nucleus, male nucleus and the female nucleus, they will get combined, and the chromosomes which are present in the male nucleus and female nucleus, they will form spindle formation on this proximal centriole. This is the proximal centriole, and on this proximal centriole, they will form the spindle formation process will take place. The exchanging of materials takes place from chromosome genetic material, and in this way, a single cell is formed, which is called as zygote. Do you understood, beta? All of you? Do you understood this or not?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you? Okay. Now, what will happen as soon as the fertilization process takes place? So let's see. Now, here, this process takes place where we had seen. So this process takes place in the fallopian tube, ampulla of fallopian tube. But we know that here, whatever further processing takes place, that takes place in the uterus. So how this process takes place? So after 3 hours of fertilization, what will happen? So this zygote, which is present inside the ovum, that will travel to reach towards uterus, so that here the implantation process can take place. So during that time, this single cellular zygote, this single cellular zygote, it will splits into 2 cells like that. But here, this union will be, this division will be unequal. One cell will become larger one and the second one will become smaller one. These are called as blastomere. These are called as blastomeres. Okay? So these blastomeres, firstly, they will divide into two. Then mitotic division takes place. And due to this mitotic division, they will divide, redivide. And that process is called as cleavage. So due to this cleavage, here, what will happen? The larger this blastosome, it will come to the center. Then the another blastomere, they will arrange like this. After that, the remaining blastomere, they will arrange and they will form what they will form? They will form a solid mass, which is called as molecule. This is the molecule. Okay. So this process takes place after up to the third day of the fertilization, and during that time, it will reach into the uterus. So up to that time, zona pellucida, it will be attached. And because of it, the size of that fertilized ovum, it will not increase. Okay. So why zona pellucida will be still there? Because it should not get adhere into the fallopian. And that's why it will be present on this ovum. Okay. Then what will happen? फिर क्या होगा? So as soon as it will enter into the uterus, so this zona pellucida layer, it will disintegrate. As it will disintegrate, so what will happen? So this solid mass, it will absorb nutrition from the innermost layer of uterus, that is endometrium. And because of it, what will happen? These blastomeres, which are present outside, so they will become swollen and become flattened like this. Okay. They will flatten like this. Then we call it as a trophoblast. The inner cells, they will just shift it towards, they will shift towards one side, and then they are called as inner mass cell. As the size of this morula is increasing, so we can see space here. That space is called as blastocele, and the structure which contain this trophoblast, inner mass cell, and the blastocele is called as blastula. And the process of formation of this blastula from the morula is called as blastulation. And this process takes place up to the process है. So this process takes place up to 6th day after fertilization. Okay. Now, after that, what will happen? So here, from this blastula, some cell, they will get detached. They will detach and they will mitotically multiply, and they will form a ring. The firstly ring which will be formed, that is called as endoderm. Okay. Then the second ring which is formed, that is called as ectoderm. And finally, inner mass cell, they will form mesoderm. So like that, 3 germinal layers will be formed, that is endoderm, ectoderm, and mesoderm. So before formation of this, on 7th day of fertilization, what will happen? So in the posterior wall of uterus, inside the endometrium, one cavity is formed, and in that cavity, this blastula, it will fix there. So that process is called as implantation, and that implantation process takes place on the 7th day of fertilization. And this implantation, it will continue up to the birth of the baby. Then ये हो गया, उसके बाद में जो है, so as it will absorb nutrition, so here villi will form here from this trophoblast. So from that, it will absorb more and more nutrition, and it will increase in size. And then this endoderm, ectoderm, and mesoderm layer will be formed. Okay. Endoderm, ectoderm, mesoderm, this layer, as they will form, so they will continue with the organs. जैसे कि एंडोडर्म लेयर जो है, तो एंडोडर्म लेयर से हमारे जैसे टीथ है, स्किन है, ईयर है, ऐसे कुछ ऑर्गन्स जो है तो वो फॉर्म होते हैं. हमारे सिस्टम्स जो हैं तो वो फॉर्म होते हैं. एक्टोडर्म से नर्वस सिस्टम फॉर्म होगी. मेसोडर्म से जो है तो हमारी जैसे ये सर्कुलेटरी सिस्टम है, बोन्स है, मसल्स है, ये सब फॉर्म होंगे लाइक दैट. So here this germinal layer, as soon as they will produce, they will start to develop further into organs. Okay, and here during that time, chorionic chorion is formed, and with that chorion, placenta formation takes place. So how this placenta formation takes place, let's see now. Okay, so here this process is going on. So definitely as this process is going on, so menstruation will stop, and that is the first sign of pregnancy. वो pregnancy का sign रहेगा. तो यहाँ पर जो है जो placenta, how the placenta work or how it is formed. So I had just told you कि endoderm, ectoderm, and mesoderm जो form हो जाता है from the inner mass cell. So one layer is formed like that is called as chorion, and from with the help of this chorion of fetus and endometrium of uterus of mother, so this placenta is formed, which is a disc-like part, and the weight of it is near about 1/6 of the weight of the baby. 1/6 जो है तो weight of the baby जो होता है उतना उसका weight होता है. And this placenta formation takes place after 2 months of fertilization. 2 महीने होने के बाद में जो है तो ये placenta formation होता है. तो ये जो placenta form हो रहा है during pregnancy, and it is the organ which is formed by 2 individuals, one mother and one fetus. So chorion from fetus and the endometrium of uterus from mother, this organ will be formed. It is just it is made up of so many blood vessels, and it is covered on the fetus. It will provide nourishment to the fetus. It will provide oxygen. It acts as an excretory organ also. Whatever waste is formed in the fetus, that will be excreted into the mother's blood through this placenta, and placenta, it is attached with the fetus by the umbilical cord, which is contain umbilical artery and the vein. So this is all about the fertilization. Today I will send you one video. You go through it, how this development takes place. That is the part of actually gynecology, but still you will be understood how the processes going on in the body after fertilization. So that I will send you one video to go through it, and if you get any problem, you ask. समझ में आया बेटा? Do you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you
Yes,
have
ma'am.
any? Do you have any queries?
Sorry, ma'am.
Do you have any queries regarding this topic?
No, ma'am.
क्या है?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So I have finished.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
मैम स्क्रीनशॉट ले लीजिए
Yes.
स्क्रीनशॉट लेना है
Screenshot. Actually मैंने पूरा उसको ये कर दिया. ठीक है. You can take it.
हेलो मैम,
हाँ बोलो.
ट्विंस बेबी के लिए सेम प्रोसीजर.
हाँ. 1 minute. I am telling you. So I had told you. Out of 2 ovary, only 1 ovary will form ovum. Okay. And this ovum will release on the 14th menstrual cycle if your cycle is of 28 days. Okay? But there may be some exception. If at a time 2 ovums they are produced in 2 ovary, both will get fertilized. And if both will get fertilized, so that time there may be possibility of twins. So these twins, they will not be identical. They will not identical. वो identical नहीं रहेंगे. Their placenta will be different. और वो identical नहीं रहते हैं. One may be male or and the second baby may be female, or both may be male or both may be female, but still they have oppositions. उनमें oppositions रहेंगे, यानी similarity नहीं रहेगी. But if the तो ये जो मैंने बताया, that is called as dizygotic twins. Dizygotic, दो zygote form होंगे and they will further develop and they will when born. That is called as dizygotic twins. What about the monozygotic twins? So monozygotic twins यानी क्या होता है? Mono means one. So from यानी before the formation of that blastomere, okay, what will happen? This zygote, it will get splits up. That will splits up into 2. Sometimes it may be attached or it will splits up into 2. So here the placenta which will be formed, that will be the single. Okay, वो single placenta में ही जो है grow होंगे, तो they will be totally identical. Male है तो दोनों भी male, female है तो दोनों भी female, and they will be copy of each other. जैसे आप जुड़वा फिल्म देखते हो तो सलमान खान एग्जैक्ट कॉपी, एक को मारा तो दूसरे को लगता है. तो एक्चुअली फिल्म में तो बहुत ज्यादा दिखाते हैं, लेकिन स्टिल जो है देयर इंटेलिजेंसी, देयर थिंकिंग, द अट्रैक्शन ऑफ ईच अदर, दैट विल बी मोर इन द मोनोजाइगोटिक ट्विंस, एंड दे आर टोटली आइडेंटिकल. वो दोनों भी एक जैसे होते हैं. मेरे घर में ट्यूशन में बच्चे आते हैं, एक डायजाइगोटिक ट्विंस है, एक मोनोजाइगोटिक ट्विंस है. जो मोनोजाइगोटिक ट्विंस है तो अगर दूसरे को कुछ कहा तो उसको बुरा लगता है. उनका नाम अजय विजय है जैसे, तो अजय को अगर हम डांट देते हैं तो विजय को गुस्सा आता है. अगर विजय को कुछ बोल दे तो अजय को गुस्सा आता है. तो अजय को कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है तो विजय बेचैन हो जाता है. ऐसा है. और उसका उल्टा जो डायजाइगोटिक है तो एक मेल है एक फीमेल है, वो हमेशा अपोजिट है हर इसमें, और वो जो है तो उनमें उतना अट्रैक्शन नहीं रहता जितना कि जो मोनोजाइगोटिक ट्विंस में होता है. क्योंकि शेयरिंग जो है तो दे आर शेयरिंग ईच एंड एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम द मदर्स वूम ना, मदर वूम से ही वो शेयरिंग कर रहे हैं, तो उनको उस चीज की हैबिट हो जाती है. डू यू अंडरस्टूड बेटा? यहाँ पर जो है तो अगर कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स आते हैं तो दैट विल आल्सो विल द सेम. अगर एक को हेडेक हो रहा है तो दूसरे को भी होता है, अगर एक को कुछ तकलीफ है तो दूसरे को भी है, ऐसा. Most probably these things are happening. Understood or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Does anybody have any again doubts? Do you want to ask anything now? किसी को कुछ पूछना है बेटा?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So can I proceed further? What is the remain? Let's see. One topic is remain from the skin, that is acne, na? Okay. So what is acne? Actually, acne it is nothing but the pimples. So acne, it is the skin condition that occur when hair follicles which are present on the skin, so that will get plugged. That will get plugged with the oil and dead skin cells, and because of it, the acne will occur. So acne usually appear on total face, okay, on the neck region also, chest region also, on the back and the shoulders. So these are the main sides of this acne. Here, actual treatment is not available for the acne, but we can control it. Okay, so pimples, they will heal slowly, and they will start to begin, so they will take some time. Okay, so most probably this acne they occur in teenagers, and here most of the near about 70% teenagers they suffer from this acne. So why? Because of the secretion of steroid hormones like testosterone in the male and estrogen in the female. So depending on severity, this acne can cause some emotional distress also. कुछ बच्चों को distress, emotional distress भी होता है. So here, what are the main sign and symptoms? The main sign and symptoms will be first the whiteheads, so then blackheads. After that, small red color tender papules will be formed. Then here, these pimples or pustules will be formed with the pus, which then become papules. Then the pus will ooze out. Then they will become again papules, and they will leave the mark. They will leave mark. जो है तो blackish brownish spots जो है तो that they will leave. Then here there may be some noodles formation takes place on the skin. They may be painful. So what are the actually causes of this? The main cause of it is the oil secretion. Excessive oil secretion is there. Actually, oil secretion, which is secreted by the sebaceous gland, na? So they have a dual function. जिनकी ऑयली स्किन होती है तो ऐसा कहा जाता है कि wrinkles नहीं आते जल्दी से. They don't become the older and they don't look older. Okay, and the second, they may get suffer from acne pimples. So here, oil production, if the excess oil production is there, then there will be chances of acne. Second thing, if dead skin cells are more, then again there will be more chances. Then if the pores that will become clogged, the pores, sweat pores, if they will become clogged, then the chances of pimples or acne will be more. And the last one is the bacteria. So Staphylococci bacteria, they can cause this acne. Okay, so most probably this acne, they occur on the cheeks, on the forehead, on the back, and on the chest, and on the shoulders. So because this area that secretes sebaceous secretion more probably. So here, this as the oil secretion will be more, so they will, the dust particles or the bacteria, they will plug there, and because
मैम
of
आवाज
it,
बहुत कम आ रही है आपकी.
hello. So if the oil secretion will be more, okay, as the oil secretion will be more, here the dust particles or the bacteria, they will plug that particular pores of hair follicles, and because of it, you may get suffer from this acne. Okay, so as such, it is not so much dangerous disease. It can be treatable, or so for we can give some antibiotics or some antibiotic ointment so that it will get cured, or wash. We in the home we can give some instructions that the person should drink a lot of water. After that, he or she must wash his face at least 4 to 5 times a day with the water and the medicated soap. And the cleanliness should get maintained. Like that, this acne can be treated. Okay. So this is all about this acne. Do you understood? So I have finished everything except gastrointestinal tract is remaining. I will take this gastrointestinal tract tomorrow. Okay. Do you have any queries? So you ask me, I will continue tomorrow. I will take gastrointestinal tract system tomorrow. Do you have any queries? Yes.
मैम नो मैम.
No,
बोलो
ma'am.
बेटा।
मैम मुझे एक मोशन सिकनेस में क्वेरी है मैम. जैसे मोशन सिकनेस में कहा जाता है कि मोशन सिकनेस जनरली ट्रैवलिंग के वक्त कॉज होता है, तो किसी किसी को कार में बैठने से होती है, किसी को फ्लाइट में बैठने से होती है, तो मैम सिम्टम्स वैसे वेरी करते हैं क्या कि सेम ही रहते हैं?
मोस्टली जो है तो नौशिया, वॉमिटिंग एंड वर्टाइगो, वही सिम्टम्स।
हाँ मैम, जैसे फ्लाइट में अगर हम ऊंचाई पे जाते हैं तो ऊंचाई पे जाने के बाद जो O2 लेवल है वो भी कम होने लगती है, तो उससे भी कुछ अलग सिम्टम्स होते हैं क्या फ्लाइट में जिनको मोशन सिकनेस का प्रॉब्लम होता है उसमें?
ब्रेथलेसनेस रहेगा, ब्रेथलेसनेस। एंड जो हम बोलते हैं ना घबराहट होती है, तो वो घबराहट दैट इज ब्रेथलेसनेस होगा। इवन मालूम क्या, कुछ लोगों को सी शोर पर जो है तो जो समुद्र की लहरें हैं वो देखने के बाद भी जो है तो मोशन सिकनेस होता है, यानी मूविंग पार्ट जो भी देख रहे हैं। तो कई लोगों को जो है तो कार में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होता, लेकिन बस में बैठने के बाद में प्रॉब्लम होता है।
और मैम माइग्रेन का तकलीफ कब होती है? क्योंकि मैंने पढ़ा था आपके नोट्स में, तो वहाँ पे माइग्रेन और मोशन सिकनेस का भी एक रिलेशन वहाँ पे बताया था उन्होंने।
देखो, मोशन सिकनेस की वजह से जो है तो बहुत ज्यादा जैसा माइंड जो है तो ये होगा, डिस्टर्ब हो जाएगा, स्ट्रेस आता है, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ माइग्रेशन कैन गेट दैट। माइग्रेन जो है तो दैट इज रिलेटेड विथ योर स्ट्रेस एंड इमोशंस। तो जब भी हमको किसी चीज का स्ट्रेस आ रहा है, चाहे वो पढ़ाई का रहे, चाहे काम का रहे, चाहे ट्रैवलिंग का रहे, चाहे खाने का रहे, किसी भी चीज का, तो जब भी हमको स्ट्रेस होता है और व्हेन वी विल बी इन इमोशनल स्टेट, घर में कुछ हो जाए और हम इमोशनली जो है दो आई एम अ फिजिशियन बट अगर मेडिटेशन करते हैं और इफ वी कूल डाउन आवरसेल्फ or we can handle any situation, so that time we will not get disturbed with the migraine से हमको तकलीफ नहीं होगी फिर ज्यादा. Anything more? और किसी को कुछ पूछना है बेटा? Hello, anyone wants to ask anything now? Can I leave? अगर किसी को पूछना है तो पूछ लो, अदरवाइज आई एम लिविंग.
मैम वो क्लेवेज का थोड़ा बता दो मैम.
क्या बेटा, क्या बताना है?
वो क्लेवेज का मैम, क्लेवेज का
मुझे समझ में नहीं आया. क्लीवेज.
हाँ.
Actually, cleavage means when the union of nucleus of male and the female gamete takes place. So that time only one single cell will be formed, है ना? So that single cell, it will go multiply. It will continuously multiply. So this multiplication takes place actually in the 4 stages: cleavage first, cleavage second, cleavage third, cleavage fourth, and then this morula will form. So here in the first cleavage, only from this one single cell, 2 cells will be formed. One will be larger, the next one will be smaller. Then after that, in the second cleavage, what will happen in the second cleavage? This 2 cells, they will divide into 4. Then in the third one, 4 will divide into 8. Okay, so when the second cleavage takes place, so that they will arrange like this 4. After that, the 8 cells, and to immediately 8 cell will divide into 16, and then 16 will divide into 32 cells. So these 32 cells, they will arrange like this. So the larger one will come in the center, the other will reach, they will arrange like this, and they will form a solid mass. That solid mass is called as morula. Then the first cleavage, second cleavage, that process takes place in the fallopian tube. From the third cleavage, they will now start to move towards the uterus, and up to the morula formation, they will reach into the uterus. Okay? Samjha?
हाँ मैम.
Okay. So, okay, I'm leaving. I will take a gastrointestinal system tomorrow, okay?
ओके मैम.